3 years ago, Armored Core 6 broke me and I quit. Even though I wanted to like it so hard. I mean, look at that. What's not to like about these insanely well-designed pilotable robots? In this case, they are called ACs, which is short for Armored Core, of course. And those surroundings are just beautifully designed. I thought, game looks like friend, so it has to be friend. But it didn't care a single second about what I thought. Instead, it beat the living crap out of me. And my unhealthy amount of Dark Souls experience didn't do shit to save me. Souls bosses often give you at least some wind-up that says, here comes the attack. In Armored Core, you just see a flicker and then you're on the floor, bleeding and crying. Also in Dark Souls, you rarely get attacks coming from above and below. AC6 feels like you control one rabid jet-powered spinning top with guns, while 10 others are trying to shoot your head off from all directions. So, of course, the first helicopter boss trampled all over me, because I tried to stay at a distance, analyze its patterns, and fight it like a Dark Souls boss. Bad idea. After finally getting past it, I got horribly wailed on by a 1,000-ton supercharged bomb-laying garbage truck, melted by a laser-shooting sphere on top of a walking city district, and finally, a murderous metal toddler in a missile barraging high chair handed me my own ass for 3 hours straight. Things got even worse when I met a flying metal spider that sent me home in a bucket repeatedly for 2 entire days. I pushed through all of that, but what finally broke my spine was the PCA battleship. Yes, the thing where you just blow up the bridge and that's it. I somehow missed that and tried to fight it with long-range weaponry. You can imagine how that went. But the real deal breaker for me was, somewhere around getting demolished by a nuclear lava-spitting scrap grinder, I decided I had figured this game out. My theory was, this isn't a skill game, it's a shopping game. Every boss is a lock and somewhere in the parts shop is the key. And if you don't have the money for the stuff you need, you go and grind old missions until you do, which felt cheap and a waste of time. So I pushed on for a while to see if things would change. Got the impression they wouldn't. Then the battleship happened and then I quit. Fast forward 3 years. A month ago, I stumbled upon Thrive's AC6 PvP videos and I thought, holy crap, I need to play this again. This still looks so goddamn fun. What didn't I get last time? I can't accept not having figured something out, so I reinstalled it and booted it up again.
Time to get to work, 621.
And guess what happened? Nah, just kidding. I was almost breezing through chapter 1. HC helicopter, first try while figuring out the controls again. Strider, the walking industrial complex with the laser cannon on top, first try. Juggernaut, the mobile fortress garbage truck, first try. And Beltius, the flying murder high chair, first try. Not really. He kicked my teeth in for at least 10 attempts until I stopped trying to be smart and switched back to the classic AC config I beat him with years ago. Smart Cleaner was only a side note, by the way. I beat it first try with a config I didn't even want to run because I thought it was a different mission. And then we met again. Me and my special friend, the Sea Spider.
Enemy detected.
We had such a nice weekend together years ago, my butt still hurts even if I dare think about it. Third try, with guns I never used before. Thought I'd try out double plasma cannons this time and it worked. Get wrecked, asshole spider. By the way, I'd love to hear more AC6 wins and fails, so if you care, then feel free to drop them down there. Anyway, you know what comes next. The battleship. I admit, I looked online how to beat it. The internet told me, and believe me, I felt more stupid than on the day I tried to color my room's lights by hanging clothing over the light bulbs. The house didn't burn down, but it was close. I was 6 years old though, maybe that softens your judgment a bit. Well, I rampaged my way through the mobs on the way to the battleship, trashed the PCA squad with double shotguns and rockets, then I boosted over and nuked the bridge on the second try. And the only reason it wasn't on the first is that I fumbled a button on the way over and died. So what about my grind and build to win boss puzzle theory now? It's kinda true, but not. Because yes, build matters. This isn't Dark Souls and you can't beat this game naked. Bring only shotguns to a fight that mostly happens 500 meters away and you deserve what you get. But reducing the game to just this mechanic is also wrong. See, the shop is just where you get the tools. Get the right ones, and that's the first pillar. And then there's another thing I didn't know back then that killed my whole grind theory. You can sell parts back for exactly what you paid. So you don't make any loss if you want to reconfigure. During my second attempt, I didn't grind a single time and could always afford the equipment I wanted for each mission. The second pillar you need to master, as far as I can tell, is understanding how the game's combat mechanics work. Especially how they are different from lots of other games and what it puts special emphasis on. Not expecting it to play like anything you know also helps. I won't go into too much detail here, but balancing speed with armor is super important. If there's one rule in the game, it's don't ever stop moving. And the lighter and faster your AC is, the fewer attacks are going to hit you in the first place by you just moving around constantly. If that's not enough and something heavy is about to be fired your way, like a laser cannon or a grenade, the game warns you with a short alert. Now it's time to dodge with quick boost. And again, the lighter your frame, the further you dodge. The last pillar is pure skill at the controls, learning to make your AC do what you want it to do. This just needs practice. And maybe you need to reconfigure your controls. A game changer for me was moving assault boost away from pushing the left stick. I sometimes activated it on accident in the heat of the battle, which got me killed a lot in admittedly hilarious ways. Binding it to one of the extra buttons on the back of my controller made a huge difference. So how didn't I get all of that on my first try? I'm not quite sure yet, more research is needed. But maybe it's because you can be missing one pillar and not know which. Take Juggernaut. Most guides tell you that fight needs reverse joint legs, because you have to get above it and hit the top. So on my second run I equipped what I was absolutely certain were reverse joint legs, went up the wall, killed it first try. Thing is, they were not reverse joint legs, but Nachtreiher bipeds. I ran the wrong leg type throughout the entire fight. I also had the wrong fire control system mounted. Didn't notice that either. So was that a build win? Absolutely not. I had at least two important parts wrong. Was it a skill win? No way, I just came back to the game and my reflexes were abysmal. The only difference was that this time I understood what the fight wanted. Like, get above or behind Juggernaut, hit the soft parts and generally be off the ground as often as possible. Everything else was slop and I still won. It also helped the Juggernaut is an early boss, where errors aren't punished as relentlessly as later on. This brings me to the last fight I had before making this video against another AC in chapter 3, way past Juggernaut. I went in with a loadout I had built for defending a spaceport because that's what the briefing said. Double Zimmerman shotguns and double laser cannons. I didn't build for an AC 1-on-1 knife fight, but I tried anyway. The first two attempts were purely me learning how he moves and what guns he uses while he dog-walked me. On the third, I had figured out two things beyond that. First, I needed to be hyper aggressive, and second, he's able to use 3 repair packs, same as me. So I kept the pressure on, staggered him with the shotguns, and then nuked him with the lasers to wear his armor down as fast as possible. Then right at the end, I lost my bearings, missed both shotguns, and nearly handed him the fight. Second salvo landed though. 30 AP left, holy crap. These are the moments only games like that are able to create. So, how did I win this time? Because I sniffed out his patterns and knew how to adapt my loadout to the fight. And because I was a lot better at generally controlling my AC than 3 years ago or 10 hours ago. Knowing which fire control system and arms to mount to maximize weapon targeting precision also played a role. And I knew when to fire which gun, something I learned earlier while fighting 2 PCA MTs at once. So yeah, compared to the Juggernaut, this boss required me to get a lot more things right and left much less room for mistakes. But still, I didn't need to build a specific loadout to counter him and was able to solve the encounter by other means. Or maybe I just got lucky with my choice of gear. I don't know. All I know is that there are much more competent AC pilots out there who might be watching this video. They probably can explain the whole combat architecture better than I am able to at the moment. So do I still think Armored Core 6 sucks? Nah, of course not. As you probably figured out by now, I'm deeply in love with this frantic piece of art. I've played it almost every night for 2 weeks straight and I can't wait to continue. If you ever bounced off it, try going back with the 3 pillars in mind: build, mechanics, and controls, and try again. It's such a nuanced game that it sometimes lets you fuck up 2 of the 3 aspects and still win, as long as you excel in one of them. Only half-assing all 3 is probably not going to work and make you bounce again though. If you didn't try AC6 yet and you like games like MechWarrior, go and try it out. It's completely different but scratches the same itch. The mysterious story is also doing a lot of the heavy lifting to make this a modern classic. And don't even get me started on the presentation.
Time to fly, 621. If we get our hands on Rubicon's coral, we'll make a killing. Plenty for a merc with a fried brain like you to buy their life back. Enough chat, back to work.
The voices of the coral. Currents coursing across Rubicon.
For my part, I'll go back into the game right after uploading this video. There's an ice worm waiting for me and I want to see how this encounter goes. While you're here and you obviously like mecha shooters, watch this video next if the arguably best 2D mecha game ever made is of interest to you. Cybernator came out in 1992 and is still unbeaten. Thanks for watching, say hi to Baltius for me and see you soon.